Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make another Suburban house. Oh, and by the way, just in case you have any more house-related needs, Suburban or otherwise, feel free to check out the car system and the links below down in the description for my other various house tutorial playlists. Odds are, if you like this house, you'll like a lot of my other houses, especially my other Suburban houses. Moving on, if you want to make this one, here's what you're going to need. You will need some block of quartz and some birchwood planks. Then grab some quartz slabs and some quartz stairs. Also grab stone brick stairs, and finally grab yourself some white stained glass paint. And once you have each one of those materials right there, and once you've figured out what you want to make it, I'll be making it right here. You're going to want to kick off your house with a row of 28 block of quartz in a row on the floor. That's 28. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. And once you have your row of 28, you then want to take this 28th block and continuing on, take a sideways view and going right of this block. That way, you then want to do a row of 16 block of quartz. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then from this 16th block, take a sideways view, and going that way, you now want to do a row of 27. Now, you can count this out if you want to, guys, but an easier way to do this is to do a row of quartz block that just lines up with that first initial row that we already placed. And what you can then do is connect, this will be the 27th block by the way guys, you can connect this all the way to the front of your house, like this. Perfect, and that gives us a nice rectangular shape, and we only had to count out 2 of the rows. This is the base of the house. Now, once you have your first layer of quartz, guys, you now want to add an additional layer of block of quartz directly on top of that base layer. So just go all the way around and add a layer of block of quartz directly on top of that base layer of block of quartz. So we're just going all the way around, we're adding one layer on. There's not too much to talk about this, unfortunately. We just have to go all the way around, and we will have eventually amassed 2 layers of block of quartz on top of each other, like this. Now, once you have this, guys, it's now time for us to decide something. Where's the front of our house? Where's the back of the house? It's important. This is the front side of my house. The back side over there could equally be the front, as this is a rectangle. You have to make a decision. So this is the front of my house. Once you've determined that for yourself, come to the front left-hand corner of your house. This one right here. Take out your birchwood planks, and on top of this layer of quartz, going right, do a row of 12 birchwood planks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then on the 13th spot, place a block of quartz. And go up on top of it by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then go right by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then connect that third block all the way down to the ground, like this. That is the main entrance to the house. We also have to add another one. Let's do it. So once you've got the front entrance taken care of, come all the way around to the back of your house. You're looking for the back right hand corner. Starting from this corner, you want to do a row of 2 birchwood planks coming left over the back. 1, 2. You then, on top of this block right here, this one what I have highlighted, this third block coming across, you want to go up on top of it by 6 with your quartz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then go left of this 6th block by 2. 1, 2. Then go down from that block until you connect to the base of the house. It's not supposed to be identical to the front entrance, it's supposed to be 1 block shorter. It's in line with one of the windows. Once you've got that taken care of, what you can then do is add a layer of birchwood planks going all the way around on top of our layer of quartz. So just to kick this off, you want to do a layer of birchwood planks that goes all the way around our layer of second quartz that we placed a little bit earlier. So we just want to, and we've still got this left-hand side to do, haven't we? We just want to end up with something that should look exactly like this. So we have our 2 entrances, our 2 layers of quartz, and 1 layer of birchwood planks. So as it turns out, guys, not only do you want to have one layer of birchwood planks stacked on top of your quartz, you actually want to have 2 layers of birchwood planks stacked on top of your quartz. I apologize, I only thought it was 1, but after reviewing the plans, it turns out that it was 2. Whoops, my bad. So just stack an additional layer of birchwood planks on top of your pre-existing birchwood planks to give you 2 layers of quartz, 2 layers of birchwood planks, and your entrances weaved in between. And once you have that, this is what you want to do next, and I would highly suggest moving your glass and your birchwood planks next to each other for this next part. They're going to be married from now on. Once you've done that, you now want to come right of the entrance, and you want to do this sequence of blocks going all the way around the house, and it does change, guys, so you can't just repeat this pattern forever. You almost can, but you kinda can't. So this is what you want to do, going right of the entrance on top of your birchwood planks. Do 2 birchwood planks, 3 glass pane, 2 birchwood planks, 3 glass pane, 2 birchwood planks, then take a sideways view, so you're now looking at the side of your house, and do 1 birchwood plank to give us 2 birchwood planks, so you guys can see how that works. Then 3 glass pane, 2 birchwood planks, 3 glass pane, 2 birchwood, 3 glass, 2 birchwood. Then taking a sideways view to what you've made coming across the back of the house, now do 1 birchwood plank, 3 glass pane, 2 birch, 3 glass, 2 birch, then 4 glass, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's very sneaky. The reason that we have 4 is so that it lines up with the entrance. Then do 2 birchwood plank, 3 glass pane, and then it just continues on like that, guys. It's then 3 glass, 2 birch, 3 glass, 2 birch, all the way around the rest of the base. So skipping this door here, it's 2 birch, taking a sideways view, 1 birch to give us 2 birch, then 3 glass, 2 birch, 3, whoops, what have I done there? That's not how a window looks. Then 3 glass, 2 birch, 3 glass, 2 birch. We're now on the front of the house, coming across the right, 1 birch, 3 glass, 2 birch, 3 glass, 2 birch, to give us something which should look like this. And what we have essentially made here, guys, is a guide for what we're going to do to the next couple of rows. So what we now want to do is, on top of that layer of house that we've just made, we want to stack 2 additional layers. So on top of the birchwood planks and on top of the glass, we want to add 2 additional layers. So it'll look like this. So on top of the wood, we add 2 layers of wood. On top of the glass, which is slightly harder, we do 2 layers of glass, just like that. And we're going to do that all the way around the base of the house. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add all of the wood in first, then I'm going to add in the glass. This is good for a couple of reasons for me. Number 1, I don't like the glass, and I find it a little difficult when it doesn't have anything to grip onto. And number 2, I think it's just easier for me, especially, to just kind of like work with one material at one time, just kind of like go all the way around and just kind of, you know, just keep doing little circles. So I'm just doing all of the wood first, then I'm doing all of the glass. It doesn't really matter how you guys do it. If you want to do it in, you know, if you want to add each window in at the same time, then that's perfectly up to you. But I'm doing it this way. I'm adding all of the wood in first. As a matter of fact, I've almost added all of the wood in, and then I'm going to add in all of the glass. So that's all of the wood. You can see how this is going to go, and then I'm now just adding the glass in. I just find it easier now that we have whoops, I say I find it easier and then I mess it up completely. So I just find it a little easier when glass pane has something to grip onto. I really should just use glass, like regular glass. I wish they never introduced pane into this game. They did introduce pane. They introduced pane by introducing glass pane, if you know what I'm saying. They really should have just stuck to like the white glass blocks. Just come out with different colors. Don't come out with different varieties, different styles. I don't need that. So I'm now just adding all of the glass in, and just in case you guys are curious what's coming up next, just to let you guys know preemptively, for the next row that's going to be going above this, where we have birchwood planks, we will place birchwood planks on the next row. However, where we have glass on the next row, we will place quartz blocks. So just above the windows, essentially, we're going to have quartz block. Above the windows, it's going to look nice. It's going to look nice. And it's just kind of going to frame the window. You might even say it's kind of like a window frame. Haha. So we're just... we're just adding all of the glass paneling going all the way around the base, and we've almost finished. I believe that we have just one more window to do. There we go. We stuttered a little bit. I always develop one. We should end up with something that should look a little bit like this, going all the way around the house. Now, once you've added those 2 additional layers on top, we now want to do exactly what we talked about. So what we're now going to do for the next layer is we're going to add birchwood planks where there are birchwood planks on the previous row, except on top of the glass, we will be adding block of quartz. That's how it's going to go, guys, and we're just going to do this. We're going to go all the way around the top of our house, and there's nothing really more to say. We're just going to do that. Where there is wood, we will add wood. Where there is glass, we will add quartz. Simple as that. And after this, we're then going to add one more layer of birchwood planks. Then we'll add a layer of quartz, and then we will be on to floor number 2. And floor number 2 is actually a little bit more interesting than floor number 1, but not so incredibly interesting that it's... I don't know what to say. Not so incredibly interesting that it's actually interesting is what I was going to say. It's just a little bit different. But what we want to end up with should look exactly like this. So as you can see, for the next row, it's just birchwood planks and quartz. Quartz on top of the glass, planks on top of the planks. Easy enough. Then once you've done that, you then on top of that layer want to add an additional layer of birchwood planks. So just go all the way around the top of your house with birchwood planks. Just go all the way around the top of your house with birchwood planks. Nice big giant rectangular shape. Just go around it until you have one layer of birchwood planks encompassing the entire top of your house. And once you've done that with your birchwood planks, you then want to add a layer of block of quartz on top of it. And once you've done your layer of block of quartz, you will have actually fully completed the base of your house. And once we've done the base, we can then move up to the second floor, which, like I said, it's kind of interesting because it's a little bit different, but it's not like incredibly fun to build, is what I was trying to get out earlier. I think I said like it's interesting, but not that interesting. Said something stupid along the lines of that. But this is what you want to have for the base of your house, guys. That's pretty much what you want to have. We do have a couple of other things to add to it a little later on, I suppose, but for the most part, it's pretty much done. Once you've got that taken care of, this is what you want to do next. So you want to come to the top left hand corner of the front of your house. So you want to be here, and you want to place a block of birchwood plank in that position right there. You guys can see where I've placed that, right? You're on the front of the house, front left hand corner, you place this birchwood plank here. Then go right of this birchwood plank by 9, guys. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You then want to come towards the center of the house. So from this 9th block, you want to come towards the center by 1. You then want to go right of this block, coming across the front of the house again. You want to come right of this block by 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You then want to come back towards the front of the house by 1. You then want to go right across the house until you hit the front right hand corner of the house. So you kind of want to end up with this shape right here. You guys can see how there's kind of like a little alcove in there. It goes a little bit concave for the middle bit of the second floor of the house. And we also want to emulate that on the back of the house as well. So come into the back of the house. We'll do this before we connect the front and the back together. So starting with the front left hand corner of the back of the house, or the back right hand corner of the house. You guys know what I'm talking about. We want to be in the equivalent corner on the back of the house. And going right of this birchwood plank, we want to do the exact same thing. So we want to go right by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We then want to come towards the center by 1. We then want to go right by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then towards us by 1. Then right until we hit the back right hand corner of the house, or the back left hand corner of the house, as it turns out. It all depends on perspective. I always get a little bit confused when I start talking about like the back right hand and back left hand corners. It really does depend on, you know, where you are at the time, I suppose. But what you want to end up with is a shape that should look a little bit like this, kind of like a dog bone, a really mouse shaped big chunky one, but a dog bone nonetheless. Once you end up with this shape right here, this is what you want to do next, guys. So next thing on our agenda is we want to, starting from the front left hand corner of the house, on top of our birchwood planks, we want to add another layer of birch wood on top of this first layer of birch wood that we have, except for these two cases. The front middle and the front middle on the back middle part of the house, we want to, where we have these two alcoves, we want to do 4 blocks of quartz, kind of like in the center of these middle rows, if you guys can see what I'm talking about. So on the front middle and the back middle, we want to have 4 blocks of quartz weaved in between our row of birchwood planks. But other than that, it is just birchwood planks all the way around, guys, and that is exactly what we want to have. So just go all the way around until we hit the back middle part here. There we go, and the front middle part, and we just want to add 4 quartz, like I said, in the front middle and the back middle. But other than that, it is just birchwood planks going everywhere else, as you guys can see. Now, what you then want to do is, starting from the front left-hand corner again, going right, this is where the quartz and this is where the birchwood plank and the glass pane meet in unity again. You want to do this sequence of blocks. Do 2 birchwood planks, then 6 glass pane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 2 birchwood planks, then go back towards the house by 1, then right 1, then 4 glass pane, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 2 birchwood planks, come towards you by 1, right 1, then 6 glass pane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 birchwood planks, then take a sideways view and going right, do 1 birchwood plank, then 5 glass pane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 1 birchwood plank, 5 glass pane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 2 birchwood planks, then we're now on the back of the house and we want to do 1 birchwood plank, 6 glass pane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 2 birchwood planks, then come towards the center by 1, then right 1, then 4 glass pane, 2 birchwood planks, 1 birchwood plank, 1 birchwood plank going right, then 6 birchwood planks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 birchwood planks, then we're on the opposite side, we're on the left hand side of the house now, and we want to do 1 birchwood plank, 5 glass pane, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 birchwood plank, 5 glass pane, 1 birchwood plank, and that is what we want to have for the second floor, guys. And that's kind of just like the entire second floor laid out, just as we kind of did with the first floor as well. What we're now going to do, and it's pretty much the exact same thing that we did with the first floor, what we're now going to do is we're now going to add 2 additional layers of what we've just added on top of the second floor of our house. So it'll look like 1, 2, and of course with the glass as well, it'll look like 1 and 2, just like that. And that's exactly what we're going to do all across the back of the top of the second floor of the house. We're just going to do the exact same thing that we did for the first floor of the house. We're just adding 2 additional layers of our materials, of our birchwood planks and our glass pane directly on top of each other, guys. So that's exactly what you want to do. Literally the exact same thing that we did probably about 10 minutes ago. And like I said, guys, just do literally the exact same thing. It doesn't really matter how you accomplish it. I'm going to be using my method of kind of like do all of the wood first, and then I'm going to be doing all of the glass, but you guys can do as you will. All that really matters is, in the end, that you end up with the exact same thing as I have. It doesn't really matter how you get there. Different roads, same journey, etc, etc. So, we're now just adding all of the glass in. Incidentally, we've already added in all of the wood. The second floor is slightly smaller than the first floor, as you might imagine, and there's a little bit more glass on the second floor. Actually, I utilized glass a little bit more on this second floor, which rhymes, by the way. I just want you guys to realize that that was an intentional rhyme. That was not luck. It was supposed to rhyme. I basically am a rap god, as you guys know. I can rhyme several words at once, like toe and mo. And I'm kind of out. I'm out beyond there. But I feel as though I'm talking rubbish because all I'm doing is I'm filling in glass again. And I really don't feel like telling you guys to do the exact same thing over and over and over again. Kind of like do the 2 layers of wood, and then 2 layers of glass, and then just repeat that over and over again. That's how we ended up there, just in case you're curious. And I'm not sure if you guys have realized, but this is going a lot faster as we started talking less and less about the house. As a matter of fact, we've only got one little bit of glass to add, and we have just done it. Boom! So once you have added your 2 additional layers of both wood and glass on top of the second floor of your house, what you now want to do, and we did this on the first floor as well, for the next row, you want to add a layer of birchwood planks and block of quartz on top of this next row. So where you have wood, add wood, but where you have glass, add block of quartz. You guys can see exactly what we're doing. You already know how to do this. We did this on the first floor. So just remember these 2 words or phrases. Remember something. Remember wood where there is wood, quartz where there is glass, and you'll be alright. And we don't actually have too much more left to do once we finish the second floor. We then have the roof, and then there's a little bit of a porch, and then that's kind of it, guys. I haven't decided how we're going to do this porch. There's a porch on the front of the house. I'm thinking about making it bigger for the videos. So what you want to end up with, guys, is something that should look like this. And like I said a couple of times, this is exactly what we did on the first floor. And if you guys remember what we then did on the first floor, we're now going to add a layer of birchwood planks on top of what we've done. So once you've done the layer of birchwood planks and quartz, what you then want to do is separate those 2 materials. And you want to add first a layer of birchwood planks directly on top of what we've made, and then on top of that add a layer of quartz directly on top of your birchwood planks, and just go all the way around, and boom, you will end up with something that looks pretty good. And then we've just got to put a roof on this thing. We've got to do 4 different frameworks for the roof, those triangular bits. We've got to do 4 of those. We've then got to put the roof together. The roof's actually somewhat interesting. It's a little bit different. It doesn't look like any of the other roofs that I've actually made before. It's kind of cool. It's kind of like a big giant bone shape. You guys will see what I'm talking about. Actually looks pretty cool. And then once we've done the roof, like I said, we've got a porch, which I haven't decided how big it's going to be yet, and then we'll be done. But what you want to end up with for the entire second floor so far should look exactly like this, guys. As you can see, it's pretty much the exact same concept as the first floor, ever so slightly smaller, and it's a different shape as well. Now, once you've reached this point with the second floor, this is what you want to do next. And we're going to have to do this in total 4 times, guys. So this is what we want to have. We want to come to the top front left-hand corner of the house, and on top of this second quartz block that we have right here, we want to place a quartz. Then 3 upright diagonals with the quartz. So that'll be your 1, 2, 3. We then want to go right 1, and then we want to do 3 bottom right diagonals to connect us down to the other part of the house. So we want to have pretty much a triangular shape like this. Kind of looks like a semicircle, actually. Whatever. This is what you want to have. Now, not only do you want to do this on the front left-hand part of the house, we also want to do the same thing on the front right-hand part of the house. So on top of the second block here, 1 quartz, then 2 upright diagonals, 3 upright diagonals, I should say. Then we go right 1. Then we do 3 bottom right diagonals until we connect all the way down to the top of the house, like this. And that's not only the front left and front right hand part, but we also want to do it on the back left and the back right. So on top of this block, 1, then 1, 2, 3, go right 1, then 3 bottom right diagonals. Is that my hotel in the background? No, it's my hospital. And then on the opposite side here, we've got 1, then 3 upper right diagonals. The reason that I'm breezing through this is because I'm pretty sure you guys got it after the first time we did this. It's place 1, 3 upper right diagonals, go right 1, and then connect down to the other side of the house. And what you want to end up with should look exactly like this, guys. And whilst we're actually here, we should probably fill these little middle parts in. So underneath each one of these 4 triangular / semicircle shapes, we want to do this. Underneath each one of the block of quartzes, quartzi, whatever, we want to do a birchwood plank. Then directly in the center of the birchwood planks, we want to place glass. Simple as that. Once you've done that to 1, of course you want to do the exact same thing to all of them. And I just remembered something else that we'll have to do later on, guys. After this, And after the porch, we'll also have to add the windowsills around the house. Not a very big job, actually. It won't take us very long, but something that I just remembered. And the reason that I said it out loud is just to kind of remind me, now that I've said it out loud, I don't know if you guys like this, kind of like a memory thing. Like, if you say it out loud, you say you're going to do it, kind of helps you, kind of reminds you. Like, if you say that you've really got to set off those fireworks at 6 o'clock, if you vocalize it, it might help you to remember. So, what we want to end up with is something that should look a little bit like this, guys, and that's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. Now, what do we want to do next? So, this roof is slightly tricky in that it's not really a conventional shape, but this is what we want to do. So, as with all of these suburban houses, the roofs kind of look like this. So, the end part of the roofs, so like the part of the roofs, like the first row of the roofs, always are quartz. Like, I'm kind of showing you a bit of an example of this now. I'm picking the worst spot to show you. Let me show you on the other part. So, the first row of the roof, so the bit that's in line with the quartz that we have at the top here, these are always quartz stairs. The main part of the roof is always stone brick stairs, and the end part of the roofs, the bits that overhang the house by one, those are always quartz. So, just to show you, first part of the roof quartz, end part of the roof quartz, middle bit stone brick. The only bit where this gets a little tricky, guys, is where the roof connects to the front and the back, kind of in the center part like this. I suppose I should show you how this kind of goes. So, just to show you how this is kind of going to go, and I've just got to build a little bit. I mean, you kind of figure it out once you've actually built a little bit of the roof, but the difficult part comes in kind of like I said. You kind of want to make sure that the roof connects together properly in the same row, and that's not it. It's one row backwards. It doesn't want to sit on top of the quartz there. It doesn't want to do that. That's the last thing. So the roof wants to look, let me show you. Let me build up a couple of layers of this, and then you guys will see. Unfortunately, roofs, a lot of the time, especially for me, it's like, I always think that they're complicated, and the reason that I think they're complicated, and I've vocalized this a lot of the time, a lot of times that I do this, like, the reason that I think roofs are complicated is because I find it difficult to put into words exactly what I'm doing, whereas, you know, most of the time I have a pretty easy job explaining what I have to do, but, you know, roofs, for whatever reason, I just find it difficult to say, you know, this is exactly what you have to do. It's kind of more of a sit and watch as I build a little bit of it, and then you guys can see what you have to do. But it's kind of obvious anyway, again, as most of these things are. So this is what your roof kind of wants to look like, guys, if you can see what we have here. So the roof kind of just wants to connect together like that. I don't know how better else to say it, like, that's how the middle part of the roof wants to connect, and it will be obvious to you how to do the rest of the roof. Like, that's how the middle part wants to look, and obviously, like, the side parts of the roof, they just want to connect together as they would naturally. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, the roofs are, it's kind of obvious how they go together. I mean, there's only one way in which it will look right, and just do that way, I suppose, is the best way that I can put this. That's how I always trip over these things. Like, I try to explain it, and I can never get the words for it. But you guys should probably see what I'm doing here, and if you can't figure it out, I mean, make it up. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. If you can't figure it out, then just make it up. I'm sure that you'll be able to figure it out. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of ways in which you could put this roof together anyway. I mean, it doesn't have to go together the way that I'm doing it. If you wanted to change it a little bit and adjust it, make it a little bit more to your taste, then you could definitely do that. And, you know, nobody has a problem with it because it's your house. Who cares anyway? So we're just doing the back middle part now, and I did also contemplate, you know, the bit in the center of, like, this bit that kind of sinks in, I did contemplate adding, like, another bit of a roof in here as well, and then connecting them all together, but I kind of decided to leave it apart. I decided to leave it all broken up. Again, that's something, if you wanted to, you could add that for yourself, if you wanted to adjust these. A lot of you guys, I should plug my Twitter. at TSMC 360, a lot of you guys like to send me pictures of stuff that you've built, and a lot of you have, you've molded it in some way, shape, or form. Like, a lot of you like these suburban houses, and sometimes you add garages to them, sometimes you add a bit of a different garden, sometimes you add a completely different bit to the house itself, and it all looks really cool. So, I mean, I guess you will, and you do, just mold these to how you actually want to see them. Like, it's not just, I suppose I'm kind of just like a starting off point, like, oh, this is a pretty cool house, but it would be better if there was a garage here, or it would be better if there was, like, the International Space Station hovering above it. And I kind of like that. I'm kind of like the starting point, and you guys see things that you like in these, and you kind of, you just build what you want to from there on. I think that that's really cool, and that's kind of like the whole point. That's what I've been encouraging for quite a while. A lot of you guys seem to think that I have this kind of like idea that it's kind of like my way or no way, but it's never really been that case. Actually, it's always been kind of like a, this is my idea for a thing. Why don't you take my idea for a thing and your idea for a thing and kind of like combine them together until you really like it? And it's kind of cool to see you guys do it. You guys even do it in pixel art as well. And I should point out, so when you get to this point right here where we kind of have like most of the roof done, if you guys can see it, well, essentially the roof is like a giant H shape. I like to think of it as a dog bone instead, but hey, that's because I'm a child. It's also an eye. It's all sorts of things. So once you reach this point in the roof, what we now have to do is we also have to add some upside down quartz stairs to the roof, kind of like this, the overhanging parts. But the bit that I would do first of all is I would do the top part of the roof, which is comprised of two layers of quartz stairs. So eventually the roof should hit an apex like this, and we should just have like quartz stairs kind of like at the top, and that'll form like a big giant H shape, or a big giant eye, or a dog bone, as I like to think of it. It'll form whatever shape you really want, but you guys can see what we're kind of doing here, how this will all end up going. Come on. You want to go this way. Sometimes the stairs are uncooperative. There we go. They wanted to cooperate all of a sudden. And you can see how this is going to go now. You can see where all of the stairs are going to go. And then we're going to do the upside down stairs. Then we're going to add the windowsills to the place. And then we're going to be pretty much done. After we've done the porch, of course. But as I was saying, it's kind of cool to see you guys meld my stuff. Like, one of you on Twitter sent me a picture of my Xbox One controller, actually. My Xbox One controller that I did not so long ago. And you actually filled it in, the guy filled it in with, I believe, blue stained glass. And it actually looked really, really cool. And that's just like one of the examples that I pick up from. Like, that's something that I never would have even considered, like filling in a pixel art with like blue stained glass. It was kind of translucent. It looked really cool, and I don't know, it's kind of cool to think that you guys, like I said, you build some of my stuff, and then it's like, it would be better if this was made out of glowstone. And then you do, and it actually looks really cool. Some of the stuff I've kind of thought, like, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I fill it in this way? It's kind of cool to see, and I imagine that you do it with these sorts of houses. Something else cool that I've seen as well, like, you know how a load of my houses, they don't really end up together, per se. Like, all of my houses are kind of, like, scattered across different worlds, and they're kind of just, like, all separate, really, most of them. But one of you built, like, a lot of my brick houses, like, probably over 10 of them, and you combine them into one world, and you kind of, like, show me some screenshots of it, and there was a video, and it just looked absolutely amazing. It was kind of cool to see, like, all of one type of a house kind of all together, and it was all, like, survival worldy. It was all really cool to see. But what you eventually want to end up with, guys, is this. Like I said, you want to do upside down quartz stairs underneath the edges of the roof, but I would highly suggest doing the top part of the roof first of all. And just to show you guys the top part of the roof, it should look a little bit like this. And if you wanted to make the top part of the roof even more pointy, that's why we brought these. If you wanted to make the top part of the roof look even more pointy, the middle part here, you might want to add a layer of quartz slabs. But actually, that looks kind of stupid, doesn't it? I brought these along for absolutely no reason then. I don't know why I even bought them. Just for fun. I thought that we might have needed them. I thought we might have needed the slabs. We don't need them! Anyway, that is exactly what we want to have for the roof, guys. And whilst I haven't talked about the roof a massive amount, I feel as though you might see how that's put together. Anyway, once you've got all of that taken care of, guys, this is what you want to do next. So, what we now want to do is we want to take out our quartz stairs, and underneath each one of the windows, and I do mean each one, every single one of the windows, we want to do upside down quartz stairs underneath the windows. These are going to act as like windowsills, and you can put a pie on these windowsills, you could put a cake. I don't know whether you're going to attract bears, maybe put a picnic basket out there, and you can bait Yogi and Boo Boo and they can show up. Are you guys too young for Yogi Bear? Do you know what I'm talking about? Who knows? You may or may not know who Yogi Bear is, but he wants a picnic basket, basically. And oh, I should mention, underneath the center windows on the second floor, don't bother placing any upside down quartz. That's kind of why we just have the quartz block instead. Like, we don't want any upside down quartz stairs in the top center of the house. We wouldn't leave those alone. So we're just going all the way around like this. And I will address the next thing that I've noticed as well. So, you may have noticed, after you've added all of your windowsills in, by the way, it'll look a little bit like this, kind of just adds a little bit of character to the house, I kind of like it. Once you've added all of the windowsills in, you may notice on the second floor of the house, we have this kind of like empty space here. Just kind of like in the top center, back center of the house. The reason that we have this empty space is because we haven't yet put in the floor. So the floor of the house is designed to go like right here, like at the top, where it's like kind of like at the top of the first floor where we have this layer of quartz. Like, this is where the floor is meant to go. And once you actually put in the floor of the house, you'll notice that the outside of the house gets covered up like this, if you guys can see what I'm talking about. So once you actually add in like the second floor of the house, that no longer becomes a problem. Just in case you guys are wondering, like, why is there a hole in my house? This isn't right. There's not supposed to be a hole in here. Birds are gonna fly in. Well, the reason is because we haven't added in the second floor yet, but I'm not going to be doing it to this particular house, so I just wanted to point that out, guys. So if you fill in the second floor of the house, or just add quartz underneath it if you don't plan on using it, that will be that problem solved, is basically what I'm telling you. What else do we want to do? So, for the entrances in and out of the house, guys, we can make them look a little bit nicer, if you like. If you want to make them ever so slightly nicer, you might want to add a little bit of glass and a little bit of quartz to them. I personally like to make them into big giant A shapes, like this. You guys can mess about with them as you will. This is the back of the house, and this is going to be the front of the house. Where are we? We're on the front of the house now. I'm going to add a little bit of glass, then a little bit of quartz, and then a little bit more glass. I kind of like to turn them into A shapes. You guys can do with them as you will. But once you've done that, once you've got all of this taken care of, we have one thing left to do, guys. So we now actually have to add a porch to the house. This is how it's designed. So, coming to the front left-hand corner of the house, starting from this bottom corner quartz block here, we want to come out by 4 in front of the house. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We then want to go right of this 4th block here. We want to go right of it by 16. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And it'll actually land like 1 block right of the entrance itself. And what we want to do is then add a layer of quartz on top of that layer of quartz that we've made. And what we also want to do is fill in the top of it. So we're kind of just making like a rectangular shape that kind of looks a bit like a big giant stepping stone, a big giant wedge between the house and the entrance. That doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter whether that makes sense or not. What really matters is that you kind of end up with like a big giant rectangular quartz shape like this. And what we also want to do is we want to knock out these 2 middle blocks here and here, and we kind of just want to make like a bit of an entrance, a bit of a walkway up to the house like that as well. And what we can then do is we can place some birch fence going all the way around the edge of our quartz porch, we can just kind of do some birch fence going all the way around the edge of it, like this. And that's kind of like the bottom section taken care of. Now, for the top section of this is what you may or may not want to do. You'll probably want to do this because it makes it look a little better, but we kind of like, just above the porch, we want to add 2 layers of quartz coming like out in front of the porch. We kind of want to add it in these positions, so it's kind of, you kind of want to do like 2 layers of quartz that is like 1 block shorter than the porch itself on the left and right hand side, like this. And you then just want to do like a layer of, actually we need to add 1 additional layer. You want to do 3 layers of quartz. I don't have this on my plans, guys. I'm kind of just winging this, but you want to do like 3 layers of quartz that is kind of like 1 block shorter on each end than the porch itself. Then you want to take out your quartz stairs, and you kind of want to go around the edge of the porch like this with the quartz. So you just want to go all the way around the edge of it like this, and it wants to connect to the back of the house again, and then it kind of just wants to go around the right hand side of it like this. So it kind of just wants to look a little bit like that, and that's what you want to have for the porch. I mean, I may have explained that poorly, but it kind of just wants to hover above the little ground bit here, and it should eventually be an equal size to the original porch once you've added in the quartz stairs, if you guys can see what I'm talking about. And once you've done that, you should end up with something that should look exactly like this. And as you can see, once you add that on, it kind of makes the house look a lot better, if you ask me. It just adds something to the house immediately. Like, it now just looks like, to me at least, 2 times better. And that's the structure of the house complete, guys. This is what it should look like. It's looking a little dark at the moment, but don't worry, the original doesn't look dark at all. Once you've reached this point right here in which you have constructed the 100% completely constructed the building, this is it. The tutorial portion of this is over. But what I'm now going to do is I'm going to flip back to my original version of this house, where I've done the interior a little bit and I've done the exterior a little bit as well, and I can show you what it looks like once it's all lit up and once you've done the interior and how much room you have and all sorts of stuff like that. So I'm going to be back in just a moment, guys, with my original version of this house, but the actual structure of this is complete, and thus the tutorial is as well. Back in a moment. So this is the original version of the house, guys. As you can see, the inside and the outside have been tampered with a little bit, but if I'm going to be honest with you, I've done very little to the actual interior and exterior. We'll take a look anyway. So we'll start with the interior, as I've really done absolutely nothing to it. So all I've done with the interior, I've added in the floors, I've added in a staircase. That's all I've done. The floors should be easy enough to figure out where they actually have to go. So the first floor is actually elevated, and it should just be in line with where we place the porch. Like, it should be really obvious to you where you actually have to place the floor of the house, or I suppose you don't have to place the floor of the house anywhere, but it's kind of like in line with where the second row of quartz is on the outside of the house. This is where I placed the floor. Nothing much to say about it. This is the bottom floor of the house. Nice. Plenty of room. Could be a little lighter, could be a little bit lighter, but hey, I didn't light it up that well. You can light it up as much as you like. Moving on to the second floor, we have a little bit of a staircase here, quartz and glass. That always looks nice and classy. This is the second floor of the house, guys. Nice and simple. I didn't include a third floor for the house because whilst you could actually break in to each one of the 4 little attics that we have, probably wouldn't do it. I probably wouldn't do that. There'd be a very minuscule amount of space, and you'd have to have multiple staircases up here. Not a good idea, but I mean, there's just plenty of room in the second floor of the house. In the house in total, there's just like plenty of room here. It's not a massive house, but it's not small either, and I don't suppose that there's anything more to say. I mean, this is sort of the room that you're working with. I haven't furnished it. I don't really like to furnish these suburban houses. I kind of like to furnish the wooden ones though. And that's the interior of the house, guys. As you can see, needs a lot of light, but plenty of space if you want to use it. For the outside of the house, I haven't done too much here either, so this will pretty much sum up what I've done to the outside of the house. I have added a hedge which goes all the way around the base of the house. Like, it just goes all the way around the base of the house, this hedge, and it just kind of like sits next to the 2 walkways that we have. Oh, I suppose I did add some stairs on the front and the back. Just kind of like a bit of a pathway, really. And I just put a hedge all the way around the house. That was kind of like step 1. Step 2, I then added this little flower bed on the front of the house. Looks kind of nice. It should actually be 1 block like coming this way, and the way that these are just kind of designed, it's just like a block of dirt or a block of block of grass. There we go, block of grass. It's a block of dirt and a block of grass. And it's also a rose thrown on top. I mean, you can use whatever flower you want, obviously, or you could use whatever. But I kind of like these. I like the fact that they're quite substantial, like they're quite big, and they take up a lot of space. It's a nice little flower bed, and I don't know, I like the colour. I kind of like that it's like a bit of red added in. It's a nice splash of colour too. Pretty much like a very like, I don't know, it's an uncolourful house when you think about it, and I kind of like what the red adds to it. So I added a flower bed to this corner bit right here, but equally so, and I was talking about this throughout the tutorial, if you wanted to, you could extend the porch, like if you imagine, I mean, we're not going to destroy the flowers here, but you could actually extend the porch to kind of like encompass the entire front of the house. I only had it kind of do like a little over half of the front of the house because I kind of like it that way, but if you wanted to, you could have a porch that kind of like I said, it could kind of like do the entire front of the house if you wanted it to. But that's just, I'm throwing some ideas around with you guys. I then also added well, as you can see, a big giant fence around the house, and that's just dug 3 blocks out, or I suppose 4 rows out, from the hedge itself. So I suppose it's 5 rows out from the actual house. It just kind of goes all the way around. We've got quartz in the ground with birchwood fence on top. On the sides, it's 4 rows out on the sides, but I think is it slightly? No, it's 4 rows out on the front and out the side. I thought that they were different measurements, actually, guys. But as you can see, the fence goes all the way around the back. And on the back here, we just have another big giant flower bed. I was going to do like a pool and a flower bed, but I didn't really feel like it. Plus, if I'm being honest, I'm kind of running out of space back here. I didn't really want to mess with Pedo Bear, for obvious reasons. You don't mess with him. You don't want to mess with him. Or Doge, or my PS Vita, or this is really a mess, this world. There's so much random stuff everywhere, but you guys can kind of see, this is just a small idea for the garden. It doesn't take very long. It's really easy to build. If you want to do more, you can do more. If you want to do less, you can do less. And that's kind of all I've done to the inside and the outside, and that's just to kind of show you, like, what can be done if you just want to add a little bit to it. And the house definitely does look better if you light it in the interior, by the way, and you might even want to add some light just underneath the porch here. I mean, it does get very dark, doesn't it? It's very dark under here. Come here. What are you doing? Can we... I'm thinking where to put these torches, really. I mean, it just looks a little bit better, and if we get high enough up, we can't even see them. So that... I just had a spontaneous coughing fit. I almost left it in the video. So, what I'm getting at, guys, is you don't really have to do too much to the inside and the outside of the house to make it look really, really nice. And doing the inside of the house definitely does impact the outside of the house. Like, if you add a little bit of quartz flooring and a little bit of light to the inside of the house, it just makes the outside look that much better. And you guys know that I'm all about the exterior of the house. I don't really care that much about the interior, but I like to do it enough that it actually makes the outside look really cool as well. And as you can see, all we've added is really a hedge, a couple of flower beds, and a fence going around the house, and I think that it just makes it look a lot nicer, and that's really all I'm trying to get at. You don't have to do too much to make it look really good. And I suppose that that's just about everything that I have to say, guys. So if you like this house, if you've managed to make it, if you've done both of those things, I'd really appreciate it if you guys could give me a like, a favorite, a share, anything you'd feel like doing to help me out, guys. I would just vastly appreciate. You guys have been lubbing new word, you've been lubbing the suburban houses, so I've been making them for you. You've been lubbing them, I've been lubbing you. We all love each other. So if you would, guys, give it a like, a favorite, a share, anything you'd feel like doing, tell me out, guys. I would just vastly appreciate it. Feel free to comment down below. What sort of house would you like to see next? I'm actually going to be backing off from the suburban houses a little bit. I'm going to be focusing, I'm not sure if you guys can see in the background, I'm going to be focusing on a couple of other types of houses and stuff, a couple of other buildings. I'm actually working on Taco Bell. I don't know if you guys have seen that already yet. I'm going to be working on a petrol station. I'm going to be maybe working on like a fire station, some prisons and stuff. So I'm going to kind of back off with the houses a little bit, but they will be back in the future to make a nice return. I mean, we have a hospital over there. That's looking pretty nice. And I suppose that is just about everything, guys. So if you would, feel free to check out the card system and the links below down in the description for my other various house tutorial playlists. If you like this suburban house, trust me, you will love a lot of my other suburban houses as well. They're all very nice, if you ask me. Feel free to comment down below. What sort of houses would you like to see next? Like I said, I'm going gonna kind of do some more utility stuff. I'm gonna do some restaurants. I'm gonna do some like police, fire station, maybe a prison. You guys have been asking for that. And I suppose that is just about everything. Like, favorite, share if you would, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.